The following video was inspired by you, and I just want to take a moment to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Each of your channels will be listed in the description of the video, and I hope you will all go and check that out and check each other out. But thank you all so much for the inspiration and for the encouragement to do this video. This will be part one of a series on the things that you asked me to look into. So thank you for watching. Here we go. Okay, let's talk about our financial struggles. I put out a video earlier this week and I was asking you guys what you are struggling with the most right now. And so many of you told me that you are struggling with financial issues, and that can also be affecting your mental health. You may feel very stressed and very anxious because of this. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about some ways that we can help with this situation, some things we can do. Okay, we need to think about this. Understanding the inflation gap. Okay, what does that mean, an inflation gap? That is when our wages don't go up, but the price of everything else does. Our wages stay the same, rent goes up, housing, utilities, food, everything just keeps going up. And we know this is not sustainable, and this is so stressful. How can we combat this? What can we do to counteract these effects on our lives and on our budgets? Well, first of all, we probably do need to take a look at our budget and see what are we doing, how is our budget? Did we make that budget a long time ago? Maybe we need to go back and look at our budgets and update them to meet our present situation. And another thing that we need to do is prioritize our wants and needs. We need to, of course, put our needs first. And we need to make our budget focus on I call 4 walls. We need to budget our 4 walls first and foremost. We want to make sure we have a place to live, where we have electricity, we have water. It sounds crazy, but those are the basics, we got to have, or we feel we absolutely need to have. We don't want to be without a place to live and without our utilities. And we have to trim unnecessary expenses, and maybe we have subscriptions that we're not using. A lot of times, sometimes you can subscribe to something, you say, oh, I'm going to do the free subscription for 30 days or whatever the offer is. Then you forget about it. And that thing is sitting there taking money out of your account all the time. You may not even be using that subscription. So I would say go through your phone, go through your iPad, your computer, and look at the subscriptions you have. Are you using those, and do you really need them? You may be able to clean out a lot of that and save yourself some money. You may, according to how many you have, you may be able to save $10, $50 a month. Who knows? Because go look at all that and see what you're doing there. They can also have fees on there, other fees associated with them as well. So, and as far as your food goes, and I'm sure you guys probably know this, but you can actually budget your food. You can meal plan and buy food that is high in nutrition. Don't buy, maybe cut out some of your junk food. You don't have to completely cut out your chips and cookies and things, but maybe you could buy the store brand. I have recently tried a lot of the different store brands, and I like them a lot. They are good, and it's a taste that you can get used to, and it helps your budget. It helps your grocery bill. Buy items that are nutritious but not so expensive. Everything is going up, even the cheaper ones, but still. Buy, like in bulk, buy big bags of beans, buy big bags of rice. If you can buy Aldi's a good place. If you guys have Aldi or Lidl, and you can buy if you eat meat, you can buy a big pack of meat. Come home, break that into smaller portions and freeze those portions. If you can find a sale on your chicken breast, if that's what you like, you find a sale on steak, bring that home, put it in little freezer baggies, and put that in the freezer, so that you're not going out hungry and buying a whole bunch of stuff at once that you really didn't need. Just go ahead and make a plan for your meals and for your meat. Meat is a big ticket item for a lot of people. Buy the big pack, especially if you can find it on sale or a good deal, and break that into smaller portions. Let's see. Do-it-yourself repairs instead of hiring somebody. There's a lot of things you can do that will help you save money that you can do yourself at home that you think you have to hire somebody for or pay a friend or a relative. You can do it yourself. If you can put a new flapper in your toilet, that's not a hard thing to do. You can put the new toilet seat on. That's some things we have just recently done. And there's a video on how to do just about anything too. You can learn how to work on your own car. You can learn how to change your oil yourself. That's not even that hard. You can do basic car repairs that way. Anything around the house that needs to be fixed, you can just about look up a video if you don't know how to do it and learn how to do it. So self-repairs are a good thing. We want to manage our debt in high inflation times. So you want to take a look at your credit cards. Let's take a look at our credit cards. What do we have on there? Are we still using them even though they have a high balance? We need to try to get that credit card balance down. Stop using them if you can, and try to pay a little bit over the minimum payment. Even if it's $5, $10, just pay a little bit over if you can to try to get that balance down and don't incur any more debt. And you know, a lot of these things like Affirm and some of those offers that you can get on Amazon or whatever, they have a very high interest rate. So I've used Affirm before, and I had to quickly pay that down because it's kind of a trap. They give you a low payment, so you're like, oh wow, this is cool, I can manage it. And if it's something you really need badly, it's okay to go ahead and use that. And if you can only pay that small payment for a while, it's okay. But work on paying that payment down as well, because those interest rates are really high. And before you sign up for anything like that, it's best to look at the interest rate, read a little bit about it, look at some reviews or whatever. And so we just want to work on keeping our debt as low as possible and trying to pay off that debt as quickly as possible. Now, you may want to try some side hustles if you need some extra money. There are lots of those online that I have read about lately. I know one of them is Uber and Lyft. You can drive if you feel you can do that. They also have, you know, food delivery gigs you can do. My son and his girlfriend do Uber Eats if they want extra money to go somewhere or to buy something they need that's outside the budget. So that's an idea if you feel up to that. There are plenty of those out there that you can sign up and do. And let's look at also our energy and utility bills. Sometimes you can look at those and get those lowered a little bit. I know recently we had to change internet companies. We just changed companies because we weren't getting that good a service anyway. So we just looked at different companies and negotiated the price with them. You can actually negotiate with some of these companies. You may not think or feel that you can, but you can actually negotiate with certain companies like telephone companies or internet companies for a better deal. And call them if it's gone up, or if you think it's too high, call them and say, hey, I just noticed this increase. What's this about? Is there any way I can get this bill lowered a little bit? And a lot of times, some of these people will work with you on that. Anyway, it's worth a try. Anything is worth a try because we're trying to save those pennies anywhere we can. And in saving these pennies and in getting our budget down like we want it, that is going to relieve us of a lot of anxiety and stress. You know, when you have something on paper and you're able to go there and look at it, you're going to feel better. If it's just in your head and you're like, oh my gosh, am I going to have the money for this bill this month? Or when you can go and just pull up a spreadsheet or your book if you have it in pen and paper. Look at your book and say, oh, okay, yes, I do have it. So, okay. So that's going to relieve your mental health and your stress, you know, just being able to go and look at that in actual writing. So I would just really advise anybody to have a written budget. It's very, very important. There are also community resources, like there are food pantries. I have used food pantries before. I haven't recently, but when my children were little, I did find food pantries, and they were so kind and nice. And there's no shame in it. There's nothing wrong with going and asking for help. And usually you can get something there, and whether they all have different things, you know. So just look in your community for that, for different kinds of help with resources like that. And a lot of times they have programs also that will help you out if you're behind on your electric bill. I had to do that before. And you just go and fill out a little paperwork and talk to them. Sometimes churches offer this as well. I did get this from a church one time. And I had paid everything and bought food. Everything was okay, but I just, my electric bill was huge that month, 1 month. So I went and got help. They paid like half of the thing for me. So that is another resource you can check out. And you want a mindset shift for financial resilience. We have to be in the right frame of mind, adapting to a simpler lifestyle without feeling deprived. We can adapt to this simpler lifestyle, and we don't have to feel deprived. You can focus on stability and security over status. You know, we don't all get to drive a Mercedes. We don't all get to, you know, live in a mansion, whatever. But you don't have to have that mindset. You can have that if that's what you so desire. You know, you manifest that and you can have that. But if we don't have to feel deprived. We can enjoy life. We can enjoy the simple things, a dinner with your family, looking at a sunset, just anything, the simple things of life that will bring you joy. You don't have to stay in that deprived and pitiful, poor feeling state. Do things to help yourself get out of that. There are a lot of free things you can do. There are a lot of parks. You can go to the park. You can go have a picnic in the park. You could get a loaf of bread. Really, I go to my Dollar General and get a loaf of bread for $1.25. You can get some peanut butter, jar of peanut butter for $2 something. You know, you can make some peanut butter sandwiches and go for a picnic in the park. Just be creative with your joy. That will help us to feel less deprived and more joyful. Enjoy each other, smile more, listen to your favorite music. This is going to keep us uplifted as well. And don't forget to pray and meditate. These things are very important as well. Emergency fund building on a tight budget. Now, we all know we need a savings plan. We need some money for those emergencies. Okay, it's very hard to save money when you're living paycheck to paycheck, and when you're already struggling to pay your bills. It's very hard to have a savings plan. But if you can save anything, if you use cash, you can have a coin jar. I have a coin jar, which I don't use cash that often, but I pick up coins that I find around the house or when I'm out. I've got like $15 in a coin jar right now. I'm going to take that to the Coinstar and get my money, and I'm going to buy some food. Okay, that's one little thing. It sounds like a little thing, but every penny counts, right? So, and if you have some cash, like you bought something, you bought your lunch or you bought some food, you can take the rest of that money, put that in a jar as well, a couple of dollar bills. Forget about it. Put it in an out of the way place and just put your money and your change in that jar. That is one simple little way to save money up for some extra food, for your gas or whatever. We just have to think like this. We have to think in survival mode. But we also want to think, when we're thinking in survival mode, we are also thinking in we're going to be better. And it's not a negative thing, it's a positive thing. So there are ways that you can still save. You can have a checking account that does the roundup. You know, after you make a payment, it rounds up the next dollar and puts that in the savings for you. That is a really good way to do it because it automatically does it for you when you make a purchase. And you kind of forget about that, you know. Try not to look over there, think about it. Just know that that's going into a savings account for you. The roundup with your checking account. A lot of banks offer this, and it's a really easy way to save. And if you do have enough, if you have a $500 or $1,000, I don't know what the minimum is, but a CD is a very good thing. If you can buy a CD and put it away for the longest period of time and not touch it, that is a very good way to save money because they're not doing that badly right now, and they're paying pretty good, and that's money that's just it's making money that you're not doing anything for. You just put your money in there and it'll make you a little bit of money. So that's another way to save a little bit. And if you have a retirement plan, don't touch your retirement plan. That's what I always tell young people, excuse me, is do not touch that retirement plan, because when you get old, you're going to wish you had that, you know, because Social Security may not even be around. And if it is, it won't be sufficient. You will need more to go with it. Okay, those are some things I came up with for saving money. I want us to remain positive about things and not get into that mindset that, oh, this is the way it's always going to be. Oh, I'm not making it. We're going to say, yes, we're making it. We're taking steps to overcome the problems that we're having. And let's stick together. If you want to talk about it, drop me a comment down below. And let's have a discussion in the comments section. And every Wednesday morning at 10, I go live. We can talk about it then as well, a little bit better. But thank you so much for watching. I hope this is going to help you to feel better. And we'll give you some tips for some ways that you can manage your money a little bit better. Thank you so much for watching.